Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining my live on such a short notice on Instagram. I've got some great questions lined up here, and I am looking forward to some great conversations on homeschooling. So let's get started. Firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Farida Baksamusa. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel if you've done so already, and if you haven't, then please consider subscribing. I live in California, and I am a lecturer. I'm a professor by profession. I'm also a mother of two girls, age 5 and 3. And I have always been interested in homeschooling, and I've met my students who've been homeschooled, and um, even before I had kids, I had that feeling that I would be inclined and would be wanting to homeschool my children. I teach at a Waldorf High School in here in California. I'm also a professor. Uh, and if you're familiar with Waldorf education, it is, I'd say, very similar to homeschool, where it's the same teacher from kinder to middle school, and then high school, they have different subject teachers. So it's like one parent teaching them throughout, right? One teacher teaching them. So I love that homeschool, and then Waldorf just goes so hand in hand for me. I'm also a lecturer where I teach, I do lab work. I'm a geologist by profession. So I teach geology labs to college students, and I absolutely love to teach. So that's a little introduction about me. I've got my master's in geology. I'm originally from India, and I've moved here for the past, I've been living here for the past 9 years. So let's get started with some of your questions. And then if you have more questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'm going to try my best to answer it. Yep, let's get started. Um, but before that, actually, I just wanted to mention one thing, that homeschool for us is a lifestyle, and I couldn't emphasize more. It is not school. Okay, school done, yay, done. You're done for the day. It's a lifestyle. We're schooling almost throughout the day, but like I said, it's part of our daily routine. With that said, I'm going to go with the first question. I have a question from Munira, and she asks, I have a 3-year-old girl, and how do I make her write alphabet? And I have a 3-year-old daughter too, and it's very difficult for them to, they're still learning how to hold a crayon or a pencil. I've got her some books where she could trace numbers and alphabets, but let them go wild with all their tracing. Let them try it, because she sees her older sister and she's seeing her sister write. So she's really intrigued and she really wants to write. Great. If they can do it, amazing. But 3 years old still is very early to start writing. At least I do what at least I do with her is do phonics, and I show her the alphabets, like 2 or 3 alphabets a day, and then just introduce her to all those sounds. And if she wishes to write, she just come with her book, and then I tell her, okay, choose any page and start writing. If you really, really want to start, then you want to start with tracing, and then teaching them like in fun ways, like, draw a ball and then draw a straight line for a bat. So, include those fun ways of teaching alphabet, and then they'll draw figures, and eventually they learn how to write and do the alphabets. Okay, so not very rigid, but just in a very fun way. I hope that answers your question. Our next question is from a Muslim mom who asks, how do I incorporate hifz into my child's daily schedule? That's a great question. And this could be if it's anything, right? If you're trying, hifz basically is memorization of the Quran. It could be verses from the Bible. It could be a poetry. It could be some music notes, anything that you're trying to teach the child. How do you incorporate that in the daily schedule? For me, what works best for my family is we do a major part of it where she studies something new, and she has a very wonderful teacher who listens to her recitation every morning. So we're done with a major part of our hifz, like by our breakfast. So she has an early breakfast. By 8 o'clock, she's done. And then throughout the day, I am revising and I'm teaching her like new lines from what she's supposed to learn. Another thing that really helps us is to making it a routine. Like, we know that whenever I'm driving, I'm always taking them outdoor, so my girls know that the moment they sit in the car, they are going to get their fire, and they're going to use an app that we absolutely love, is the Alma Hafiz app, and she is immediately doing her repetition, and she's doing hifz. So that really helps us. We've got into that routine that she knows that she's prepared, she's ready, that when we sit in the car, we're doing that. So that really helps our practicing of hits. That is something we do that while we're driving. That happens every day. And then during the evening, I'm also listening to us. It's bits and pieces. It's very difficult to make a 5-year-old sit and do it continuously, so we make sure we're getting that done in the early in the morning, and then while we're driving, and then in the evening. So yes, you sometimes when they're just playing, I just keep it on at the background and they're listening. So that helps a lot. They're just such sponges. They can learn so quickly, and sometimes I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, how did you do it so quickly? But it's just that age, where they could learn so many languages. They could learn chapters in Quran. It's amazing. Um, I have a question here in Zainab asked a question. How should I introduce spoken English and reading to my 5-year-old? Great question. uh, we live in states, so English is just part of normal conversations here. So they learn, because English is not something we speak at all at home. We speak our mother tongue, which is Gujarati, but they're going to learn English. Like, she meets my neighbors, and she's talking to her friends, and their friends are talking in English, so they're learning that. But if you're living in other parts of the world, then I would say just reading good literature. I mean, they don't have to like learn it. Just let them read. And I made a video on that. How do you teach reading, on the books that I recommend for a 5-year-old to learn reading. So yes, I would say just good literature. Read, and they will learn. They will learn to read, and they will learn to speak, and they learn so many new words. The vocabulary will be amazing. So, yep. So the next question is, do they ever want to go to school? Good question, Sakina. Yes, it's like how I was actually, I had asked this to a fellow homeschooling mama. What do we do when your kids say that we want to go to school? And that's happened. And she very wonderfully answered that question. It's the same, where a kid who's going to school and says, Mama, I don't want to go to school, and I want to be at home, and I want to be with you. So it's what works for you, right? This is what works for my family. So this is what I have chosen for them. And there will be times where they'll be like, oh, I want to go to school, of course. That's fine. But you do not doubt your decisions there. Um, so just like a mama whose child would say that I do not want to go to school, you're still sending them because you know that's the best for them. The same way, if you're a homeschooling mom and your child tells you that, Mom, I don't want to go, I really want to go to school because my friends are going to school, and that's going to happen. Um, and you do not have your doubt your decision, because homeschooling is such a big decision. Takes years to come to that decision. So yes, so do they ever want to go to school? Yes, when their friends talk about school, yes, they do. But at the same time, I share an instance where my daughter's sitting in the car and it's raining and we're doing some math, and we're waiting for the rain to stop so that we could go in the park. And she tells me, Mom, and she's just 5 year old, and she realizes, and I felt so good as a homeschool parent, that my mom's like, my daughter's like, Mom, this is so cool. I can study in my car. I can be done with math in 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're done. And I don't think so. And my daughter's gone to a formal school. I've sent them to play school. My younger one goes to a play school too, just to play. And she made the best of friends there. So yes, so she realizes at the age of 5. So as they grow older, they do realize that they've got so much freedom in homeschooling. So that's something they will realize. But good question. Zainab says, extremely watched the video and extremely grateful, seeing positive outcome. He's not ready to speak yet. Even quiet reading, he's a bit reluctant. But yes, yeah, definitely let them take their time, and do not. There's no clock, ticking clock. They're young, and let them play. You do not. It doesn't have to be that they read at the age of 8, at 5 or 6. Every child needs their time, and it's let them do what they want to do. From which standard you stop homeschooling? So you could go on throughout school, and then your kids would go directly to college. I know moms who do that. Or like for me, I'm taking it 1 year at a time. Ideally, I would love to homeschool my girls till middle school and then send them to high school. I've seen my students who've been homeschooled till middle school and then they come to Waldorf for high school education. So you could school them from kindergarten to 12th grade throughout. Which books are helpful to teach my baby? She's 3 years old. I plan to do a video on little toddlers where, what books and what play, what open-ended games are really fun for them. Right now, just say let them play, let them use their imagination, be creative, make forts, um, use your sofa, use rugs, and just play. They have siblings, and just play with them. That's great for that age. That's how they're learning a lot. Through creative play and imaginative play. Do they realize they do so much work and you teach also? I feel, because my girls are always with me, they are just so, they know when I'm working, they know when I'm tired. Of course, every kid knows that about their mother and their parents, but when you're with them throughout the day, it's just, so yeah, they do realize that. I'm going to go hop on to some of my Instagram questions here, and you can keep those questions coming in. I'm going to check that. My next question is from Saral Parenting, and she asks, how much time do you have to devote as a parent for homeschooling? Great question. Right now, my daughter is really small. We do math. We make sure we do math and language arts. That's reading. Almost every day. Math takes us around 30 minutes to be done. 30. Sometimes there are lots of activities, so then it goes up to 40 minutes. And then there's language arts, which takes around 15 minutes. So I'd say proper sit down school with a lot of other small breaks where she's going for a snack, or she's going to she's running to go on the swing. It would be around 1 to 1.5 hours. So that's when we are doing our main our core subjects were math, reading, writing, some of the writing that comes in her language arts books. And then later throughout the day, like I said, it's a lifestyle. We go for a nature walk, and in my head, I'm ticking mark. I literally tick mark. I'm sure many homeschool moms would resonate here that she has looked at some oak trees. Wow, this science done for the day. So it's throughout the day that we are learning and we are observing. They're asking questions. They're asking Google questions. We have a Google Home where she keeps asking questions to Google when I'm not available or I'm at work. Or then she's continuously reading. So it's happening throughout the day. But my focused attention when I'm teaching them their core subjects is, for now, is 1 to 2 hours max. Yes. The next question is, I'm not going to mention the city. She says, my city is not clean enough to take my children outdoor to explore and learn. I would say to that, as long as you know that it's safe, the environment is safe, you're with your children, it's amazing to take the children outside. Of course, conditions are different right now, but hopefully things get better and we get to step out more often. As long as your kids are safe, it's a safe environment. I wouldn't worry much about cleanliness. Kids learn. They learn so much. Maybe they'll come up with an idea of how could we make this a better place, or or why is this happening? Or then they would be like this weather detective hat and think about what's causing it. So take them outdoor. Don't let all of this stop you. All that's important is your child's safety. You're with them, the environment's safe. Take them out, let them explore, let them learn, and do not worry about stuff like it's not cleanly, like stuff like it's not the best clean environment. So take them outdoor. That's definitely something that I suggest. I had another question from a parent, and the question is, do you follow strict timings for homeschooling? And the answer is no. And that's the point, right? The flexibility that homeschooling gives me, especially because I am a working mom, and nowadays most moms are working. Homeschooling parents are, they're either running their business or they have part-time jobs. I know parents who do full-time jobs and they're homeschooling their children. So no, we do not follow strict timings, especially when on days that I'm working. Um, on days when I'm not working, ideally, I'd love that we are done with math and writing and reading in the morning, and then we have the entire day to do projects or to meet a friend or to go to the park or for a hike. So we like to be done. But say I have some work to do, then it is very flexible, and they work. My homeschool works around my schedule. Because if I'm stressed and have to get some work done, then they realize that, and that's not really good for my children. But I cannot give them my best. So yeah, it works around my schedule. So no, we do not follow strict timings. We like to start our day in the morning and then we're done by afternoon. That's ideal. But if I have to go to work, like I said, in the morning, then we do it in the afternoon. On days when I'm working on Monday, I school on Sunday. We finish a lot of schoolwork on Sunday. So it is very flexible. And that's the best, one of the best things about homeschooling. There's so many. Amatullah asked me, are you a strict teacher? That could be two things. I am a strict teacher. I am not a strict teacher. Even with my students in college and at Waldorf. With my kids, I'm not strict, but I am a very, like, do this. This needs to be done. Like getting things done. Like I have blocks in my head where all of this has to be done, even though it's around my schedule. But I am making sure. I'm a very particular mom. Like I'm very on top of things, like get things done kind of thing. But I am not strict. No. They're kids after all. They're gonna do all. It's gonna be difficult for them to sit, and they're gonna have their tantrum someday. And I'm just a regular mom. I get angry. Of course, I'm human. And then on some days I'm just chill. I'm like, okay, I don't lose my cool, and like yeah, that's fine. So. Then let's move on to our next question that came up from Instagram, which kind of goes hand in hand to the previous question about do I have a fixed schedule and that I work and my homeschooling is around my work. So the question is, can you work and homeschool? Yes, absolutely yes. Like I said, homeschooling is very flexible when the kids are younger. Yes, you need to sit down with them and you need to tell them everything. But as they grow older too, of course, their education, there are more subjects, and they need more time to sit down work. That increases, yes, but they also get more independent. So when I see my students at Waldorf who are homeschooled, the way I could call them apart is they're very independent. You have to just tell them once, or don't even have to tell them sometimes, and it's done. So yes, you could work, you could have your business. As your kids grow older, of course, you will be the main teacher, but they'll also do the independent work, and that's when you can work or go to your work and or work on your business. So definitely, you can work and homeschool. That's something I do right now. I work 2 jobs and I run my business. So it's possible, and I absolutely love that, and I really hope I can continue that. Where then I get to go out of my home, and then I get a little break, and then I come back. So yeah, but you do you. What works for you? Another question is, and I get I get this question quite often. That they tell me, people tell me that I'm a teacher. Oh, it's easy for you to homeschool because you're a teacher. But I'm not a teacher. I have no background in teaching. I cannot homeschool, or can I homeschool my kids? And I say, no, you do not. Every parent is a teacher. Your kids go to school, they go to public school, private school, they're coming back home, you're looking through their books, you're involved, you're an involved parent, you are their teacher. So yes, you do not have to be a teacher. In fact, sometimes I tell them that me being a teacher and homeschooling, that it's not that I want to homeschool because I'm a teacher and that's something I love to do. That's one reason. But I'd say my choice to homeschool or to choose to homeschool my girls is because of my profession, because I'm a teacher and I know that it's difficult for teachers, even though in the best of schools, in the best of teachers, just not humanly possible to give that one-on-one attention. So that's something I've seen in school environments, and that's why it was one of the reasons I wanted to homeschool. I wanted that one-on-one approach with my child. So no, you do not need to be a teacher to homeschool your kids. You anyone. You don't need any. I mean, there's so many books, and we can read as long as you can read. Um, you know what is best for your child. You understand how your child learns. You do not need to be a teacher for that. You are their parent, and you know best. So yes, you can do it, and you do not need to be a teacher to homeschool your children. I'm looking at your YouTube questions. I have someone asked, homeschooling benefiting the child? Indeed, yes. For us, it is not just academia, it's the overall, it's very wholesome, and carving them into a very, this complete human who is, well, very independent and loves to learn. And that is a particular, that is one of the reason why we homeschool, is not for having them to learn for grades, um, or but to learn what they love, and to do it for the love of learning. They like a subject and they do it. They follow their own passion of learning. So yes, it definitely benefits the child, and I see that in my homeschool students at school. Moving on to my next question. Yes, this is a question that comes a lot, and I'm sure so many people might have this question. I've been asked this question a lot, is what's my input on TV and gadgets on screen time? Now, here's the thing, whatever works for you, do that. But as a teacher, as a homeschool mom, I want this environment where it's very wholesome, when there's no screen, when there's no media, whatever your child is doing, it is educational. It is wholesome. It is them using their imagination, their creativity, playing with their siblings. Anything minus screen is educational. That's what I say. Whether it's playing games, whether it's reading books, playing with your siblings, or just playing by yourself. I totally love that. And in my family, we do screen time. We do not do much screen time. It's now that we do once a week. My daughter knows that Monday is when I go for work around that time, and my husband's working, and that's the only time she gets 1 hour of screen in that entire week. And that's when she watches Mystery Science, or she does some quizzes online on iReady. So yes, I wouldn't say screen is important where you're learning. We watch documentaries once a week, and yes, I would say it's got its benefits. But for a wholesome education, where I personally believe that that screen, if you take away screen, it's much more education in the house. And then of course you could ask me that, if I take with the screen, my child gets bored. And I would suggest for that, you would keep a lot of books that you get from the library. We have a lot of books around where she is always reading books, and keep a lot of open-ended games, toys, blocks, Legos, not a lot, but just blocks, Legos, or just giving them the freedom to play and having cardboards at home and just making forts. That my girls really love doing that. So yes, just having that, having puzzles. So once it'll be difficult, but they love it and you love it too. So, but like I said, it's what works for your family and what works for you. Something that really helps us is having a kitchen. Every kid, boy, girl, they love to have a kitchen, and then they pretend play. They love doing pretend play. So something that simple, basic stuff, toys that you could keep, open-ended toys, that would be really nice. Another thing that we love is our podcast. So when my girls are bored, we have a little Bluetooth, and I will connect it to my phone, and then we play podcasts from Story Nori, and there's just so many. Or sometimes I just play a YouTube video, and I kind of change the tab where they don't want to see the screen, and I connect it to my Bluetooth, and they're listening to stories. They're listening to read alouds. So that's really great for their mind, where they don't see pictures in the book, but they are imagining. That's what we love about podcasts too, right? They're telling someone's telling you the story, and you're imagining it. So like you're building your own characters in by just listening. So that's a great skill. So when they get bored, podcasts, YouTube videos without the screen, just for them to listen to the stories or read alouds is great. And I have suggested a lot of books in one of my videos, the reading video. Another question that came was, you can leave your questions in the YouTube chat as well. I'm almost done with my Instagram questions, and I'll come again to your YouTube questions. One question was, what do you do when kids refuse to school, or they refuse to sit down? That happens. That has been a question that has been asked again a lot of times by parents. I would say that's fine. Listen to them. Sometimes boys, they really want to remove all that energy. They want to play something before they sit. And so play with them. I have friends who play games with them. They play basketball like half an hour before they start school, and then the child would sit and do their work. So that's one thing. Another thing is sometimes when there's a lot of screen going on, leaving the screen. If your child is on the screen, and you're telling them to come to study and sit down with you, it's very alluring. It's to leave that screen and then study. So if you do maintain a very screen free, not 100% screen free, but if your child is not on screen and then you're calling your child to do an activity, to sit down with you, the chances are that they will come and be more, the hesitancy will be much, much lesser. But remember, if your child is not willing to study or sit down that day, listen to them. At small ages, like from 3 to 7, it's their body that's speaking more than their words, right? So they're saying that they're restless, so then go to play with them, and then sit with them to study. And so it's normal. Be graceful to yourself. That happens with a lot of parents. For us, when people ask me that, oh, wow, how do your kids sit? And my children would never sit. And I would tell them that, for school going kids, they know that they have a teacher they love. And when they come to school, when they come home, it's more like, okay, now they can play and they can talk to their siblings, talk to their parents. In the back of their head, they know that, oh, it's their teacher who is to teach them. So probably that could be the reason that they are a little reluctant to sit down. But for my girls, for homeschool kids in general, they're very self-motivated. They know that it is, if they want education, it's happening here. Otherwise, they're not going to get it. So it's very difficult to see the homeschool kids are reluctant to sit down and study, because they're very most of them are self-motivated, and they know that this is the place that they get their education, that mama, papa, grandparents are their main teachers. So those are my questions, some of the questions on Instagram that you all left. I am now going to spend a couple of minutes to go through your YouTube questions. So if you have any questions, please put them in the live chat there. It's amazing to see so many people here. Hello, everyone. Yes. I've been homeschooling since the past 2 years now. And inshallah, if everything goes well, I homeschool for more years. So I'm going through your questions, and I guess I've answered most of them. How did you decide to homeschool? If you see my video, I've done a video on that, but I could definitely tell you in short that, like I said, being a teacher as a profession, I have seen students. I've taught in some of the best schools, private schools, where even though there are few students, it's very difficult for a teacher to give that one-on-one attention. So if I have a child who has finished his or her studies, I've assigned them to help their peers who are still working on a subject. So the one-on-one attention was missing. That's something I wanted to give my kids. Another reason is that I wanted my children to study for the love of education and never for grades. And just I love being with my children all the time. That's also one of the reasons. And I wanted to be the main influence in their lives at this young age. Um, so yes, there are many reasons. Of course, it took us a few years to make that decision. That yes, of course, I had that in my head. I had to discuss it with my husband, and then we weighed the pros and cons, and then decided this for our family. This is what works for us, and we absolutely love it. It's a lifestyle for us. So yes, that's why we decided to homeschool. So yes, thank you again. I do not see any more questions. I hope I've answered some of the most common questions and some questions that you felt like asking but couldn't. I hope you found your answers in those um, answers to my questions. So I hope you'll have a great day. I'm going to sign off. Thank you for being here. And if you have any more questions, or if you wish for me to do certain homeschool topic videos, then let me know in the comments, or let me know on my Instagram page. And I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.